Okay, I'm gonna start with this LG G4 review. First I would like to say if you hear any noise in the background and it sounds like a dog barking, it's because it is. It's not my dog, it's the neighbors in the neighborhood, so I sincerely apologize about that, but I have no control over that. Anyway, let's get started with the design of the LG G4. The design of the G4 is very nice. It has chrome size, kind of silver-like. I mean, I don't know if it's chrome or not, but I guess. Thin bezels, high screen to body ratio, and the back is removable so you can choose between LG's various G4 back cover designs, from leather that ranges from brown to a sort of pastel blue leather backing to a simple gray metallic design. Personally, I opted for the plain metal metallic gray backing because I had already planned to put skins on the back of mine, and for my logic, I didn't see it working very well on a leather textured backing. My little sister commented my phone kind of looks Metro-ish, Metro PCS if you don't know. Her reason is that Metro has a lot of LGs and they kind of all have the same design with the LG logo. I kind of had to agree with her. I thought the same thing at first. However, if you look really closely, there are these small black diamond-like symbols on the front to display. It really is nice though. It makes it look more premium than if they just left it a solid black color. Okay, as far as the screen goes, the G4 has a 5.5-inch IPS Quantum Quad HD display that touts having improved contrast and brightness and improved color space and accuracy. And I must say, the screen is beautiful and very bright. I must admit though, as far as in direct sunlight, the display doesn't perform the greatest. However, it definitely isn't the worst. It's a solid performer in direct sunlight. For normal indoor settings though, the brightness is very vibrant and beaming to the eye. An example of what this beautiful 5.5-inch quad HD display that touts all these features is this video by one of my favorite artists, Dawn Richard, a music video for her newest single, James Dean, meshed with the interlude of one of my favorite songs from her current album, Blackheart, entitled Titans. Here's the video, Titans x James Dean. As you can see, the screen is pretty amazing, from the music video of Dawn Richard's Titans x James Dean. One thing I would love to point out is due to the larger and lengthy 5.5-inch display, the rectangular screen size, and the width of the screen, the G4 is like an unofficial phablet. Unofficially, this is an LG G4 Note to me. I wanted to be upset that LG would make an official LG Note under the mid-end LG Stylo, but since the stylus pen, this is a Note/phablet too. There are many apps and features that are optimized to give you a phablet/no experience, like Quick Memo Plus that takes full advantage of the screen and ratio of the screen, to truly make this a very effective and productive unofficial phablet. Battery life on the LG G4 is pretty good. However, the exact performance that I've read about in many professional tech reviews, I have not experienced. On a good day, I get about 8 hours of typical to average heavy usage, but the great thing is the battery is removable. So I can just have another 3000 milliamp battery charge to install once my battery is on its last lifeline for the day. And LG also has a promo right now that if you send in, I think it's the UPC and it's the receipt and the actual box of you actually purchasing an LG G4, they'll give you a 3000 milliamp battery as well as a battery cradle charger, and they'll give you a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, which is you can see now. Additionally, the LG G4 does support Qualcomm's 2.0 quick charging technology, and I do have a quick charger, as you can see here. It does work, but the performance of it has been, I don't know, it's been good, but then it's been kind of mesh or whatever. But it does say that it has that technology, which has also helped me on many occasions. I've been able to get about 20% or so of a charge within about 30 minutes between tasks. What I can say about the battery life is the standby time is absolutely amazing. I had an interview last week at 7:30 in the morning. I got up around 6 a.m. and took my phone off the charger around 6:10 or so. My phone was on 4G LTE with an average brightness, and I may have used it once or twice to look at some small notes on my G4 before my interview. Once I got done with my interview around 7:58, it had only drained about 1% from 100% since it had been taken off the charger. I was thoroughly impressed and amazed. Typically, I'm losing about 10 to 15% or 5 to 10% of charge on most past smartphones. Network performance. I've had great performance on the G4. Over my mother's house, typically with my smartphone, it would fluctuate between Edge, 4G HSPA, and 3G. On my LG G4, I typically get 4 bars over my mom's house now. I've never had it stutter in performance or fluctuating of different network types. Typically, I'm full 4G LTE all day or half bars. I average around 12 megabytes per second download and upload on the go. And here's an example of my performance here at home in the speed test from Okla. I think that's what it's called, Okla speed test. As you can see, I got some pretty great speeds on my T-Mobile LG G4. Call quality on the LG G4 has some pretty cool call quality features. It has one feature that I'm not sure if it's on every smartphone that's out now, but it's called HD voice. I only say this because out of all of the 4G LTE smartphones I've had, like from T-Mobile, I've never saw a dedicated exclusive feature like this. Yes, I've seen VoLTE LTE, voice over LTE, but not HD voice, which is a separate feature. As I can show you right here on my phone, you can see that I took some screenshots of the menu and it shows the settings between VoLTE LTE, and it also shows the voice clarity and the noise suppression feature. This feature is available on Wi-Fi calls and 4G LTE voice calls. I've had exceptional call quality in my experience with the G4, no complaints. I love that I can turn my mobile data off and still enjoy just about every feature I have on my G4. I still get text and voice calls. The only issue is MMS don't come through, which is picture and video messages, different multimedia messages, till I turn my mobile data back on. And with HD voice, I don't miss out on the amped clarity and call quality from VoLTE LTE. Wi-Fi calls sound very good, which is great considering years ago I had issues with T-Mobile's Wi-Fi calling, in which I used to get echoes and robotic voices. The camera on the LG G4 is pretty amazing. It takes some getting used to though, definitely not a pick up and go type user experience. I say this because there are lots of controls in the manual mode, not excessively, but what I'm saying is if you've never tampered with manual controls on a camera, you'll definitely have to sit and tamper with the controls for a while to understand what you should use, where, and how. But once you get the hang of it, you're good to go. You have features like controlling the shutter speed, brightness, exposure, ISO, manual focusing, etc. There's also a host of other features like HDR, timer, face recognition, and etc. The manual controls are only for the rear-facing camera though. The front-facing camera also works in auto and simple mode. However, the front-facing camera still takes some reasonably good pics. Another cool and exclusive feature the LG G4 has, at least from what I can remember from my smartphone experience, is a selfie light. Basically what happens is the viewfinder turns into a small rectangle and the remaining borders of the screen turns into a light that brings light upon the subject, which you should be yourself, since that's what it's for anyway. And this feature works great. I have taken plenty of selfies like this, which result in a clearly viewable subject even in pitch blackness, which would normally appear very obscure. Storage. The G4 comes with 32 gigabytes of internal flash storage memory. However, as most Android users know, when you actually first use your G4, you will notice you have about 25 gigabytes of storage to actually use internally. As noted, things like the Android OS and cache partition, among other things, are what takes a majority of the internal storage. The chip is 32 gigabytes, however, that's not what's fully available to the user. Thankfully, the LG G4 has expandable storage via a micro SD card slot, giving you up to 2 terabytes of expandable storage. Though we don't have micro SD cards that big yet, we do have the 200 gigabyte micro SD card from SanDisk, and we have a 512 gigabyte micro SD card releasing from Microdia. So the micro SD card technology is definitely growing. In addition, I spoke to an LG rep via LG live chat on their website and confirmed that the SD card slot does support UHS-2 micro SD cards. So you have a future-proof feature. You are future-proof. UHS micro SD cards offer faster read and write speeds, most importantly sequential read and writes, to give you better performance for viewing and storing/recording respectively. Just to know, I have a 64 gigabyte, two 64 gigabyte micro SD cards. One from Transcend Ultimate, which is a 633X micro SD card. It's a UHS 1U3 class, and I also have the SanDisk Extreme Pro, which is the same class and everything like that. So those are on sale right now for probably about $50. So I recommend, if you want to get a cheap micro SD card that has very good performance, I would recommend those two brands. Also, look at the description below. I also am giving you explanations of Android storage, as well as those, at least the higher storage amount of micro SD cards that, I would recommend, that I mentioned in the video, and that's some that are coming out later. Performance on the G4 depends on the launcher you're using. With the default, I think it's called the Smart Launcher that LG has, performance lagged a bit. You also have to think about the apps you have installed as well. They can bog down your performance. I do know there were a few apps that I kept getting error messages for, and I had to uninstall them. But ever since I changed over to Nova Launcher Prime, performance has been great, quick, clean, and zippy. Here's some different tasks that I'm going to do to show the performance of the LG G4. I'm going to go to a website just to show how it scrolls and how it pinches to zoom and stuff like that. So here's that. Additionally, here is an example of performance via a game. This is Marvel's Future Fight, and I'm going to show you pretty much the performance of HD or high def game. So, I just don't give you some parts of the performance, just giving you the internet experience. But what about high definition games? Is it going to lag? Well, I don't know if this is the most high definition game, but this is a game, so yeah. Okay, I know this is not the best quality, but I want to do it on my webcam because you could be able to see me clear. I still have to get me a tabletop tripod so I can be able to do videos better and everything like that. But here's a T-Mobile LG G4. It's hard to see it because, like I said, I'm recording from my webcam or whatever. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. The camera is really amazing. I don't even know how I'm showing that. The camera is pretty amazing. I'm still working out the manual controls and everything like that, but I'm getting the hang of it. The speaker is pretty good. Like I said, it's not the best because, for one, it's on the back and you have this little small speaker right there. What else can I say? The call quality is great. Like I said, it has the HD voice feature, which also works on Wi-Fi calling as well as LTE calls, at least from my experience or whatever, and it also has VoLTE LTE. The performance is great. I took off the I think it's called Smart Home Launcher that was on it initially as a default or whatever, which actually is great. It has some features like smart settings and stuff that it tells you about the different features of the G4. I mean, not smart settings, but it's like smart cars, I think that's what it's called. And it tells you about the G4, like different features on how you use them and everything like that or whatever. It has some really great features. I forget all of them or whatever, but I'm actually going to do a review. At least I plan to do a review of like the exclusive features of the G4 or whatever. So yeah, that was really cool for that. What else can I say about it? I love the screen. It has a 5.5 IPS quantum quad HD screen, and I really loved it. I was against, like I said, getting a screen this big or whatever, but I really enjoy it. Like, the phablet experience is amazing, even though it doesn't, market it that way, like it's a phablet experience or whatever. It really is. Like, quick memo, if you can see, is right there in the notification bar, so I can just click on it. Hopefully you can see it. Let's see, because I can't tell. Let me just click on it anyway. And then it'll pop up and you can draw on it. And then you can click the little text button. And then it'll pop up where you can see your drawing is still there, where you can like text and everything like that. So that's pretty amazing. I've been using that a lot or whatever. And I've just had a pretty amazing experience with it. Did I miss anything? The design, like I said, I love the design. I have a Fusion bumper case by Orsley on it. And I think that's it. Did I go over everything? Oh, and the storage. Yes, I love the removable battery for one. I actually got, actually it's in the video, but I actually got the promo from LG with the 32 gigabyte micro SD card from SanDisk, as well as the 3000 milliamp external battery and a battery cradle charger. Additionally, like I said, my micro SD cards I have in it or whatever. So, I mean, it's just like, it's everything you could pretty much ask for in a smartphone, and it only cost me $600 plus tax. And a lot of smartphones nowadays are really going up the price bar. Like, it used to be $600 you get any smartphone, and I knew phablets cost more, but then now, like, the Samsung series is like, what, $679 for the cheapest one with 32 gigabytes and no expandable storage. I mean, granted, the performance is great, you know, with their technology of their the storage, the internal storage they have in it, but that's a lot of money. So it's like a really great smartphone to buy for anybody that, you know, is into technology or whatever, and, you know, wants a great buy, all around performing a smartphone. So I hope you enjoyed my review, and yeah, so I'll see you all in the next video.